Yeah, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon and good evening from wherever you're watching my video from. Alright, yeah, it's so nice having you guys once again. Yeah, I know it's been a long time, right? I last recorded, and a lot of you have been asking, where am I? And of course, a lot of my students as well. But trust me, I brought a very interesting and complex topic to you out today. Let's talk about fundamental analysis. You know, I know many of you are in my channel, right? Many of you are, many of you have been watching my videos and you ask questions like, how do you trade news? Many of you on my group, you see that, yeah, I trade fundamental news a lot of time, right? And then you want to know how I get it. Yeah. Uh, I'm going to be giving an introduction to it for this video. And then the next video, we're going to be going in depth into it. Alright? Alright, for those of you joining, I am Isaac Jackpot. I'm the director of Jackpot FX, and it's so nice meeting you once again. Yeah, there will be the link to my channel and the link to my personal DM on WhatsApp under the description for this video. Yeah, just check the description for this video. You'll be seeing my details and other inquiries as well. Alright, let's go straight to the business of the day. Let me start by saying that Forex is 80%, if not 90%, fundamental analysis. Yeah, that is. We call foreign exchange, right? Foreign exchange, do you think the bank care about your double top, your double bottom, or your order block? Have you ever thought of that? You know? Now, why do you think when major news are being released, they love volatility in the market? And also, why is it that when we have um, bank holidays, there's slow movement? If 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 you would call it no movement at all in the market. Take for example the last Monday, right? Last week, when we have the Easter Monday, right? Yeah, you all could remember that CHF Swiss francs also had bank holiday, USD bank holiday. A lot of European countries also had bank holiday, GBP bank holiday, right? So if you look at your chart, all those, so I think I remember about 2, 3 people that came to my DM and asked questions like, "What's going on? Why the spread this big?" Some of you were blaming the broker. No, it's just that you don't have proper knowledge of facts. Yeah, I would also want to enlighten you in such a way that I would like you push more interest, the same way you gone in and hunting for that your technical analysis, the same way you want to learn inducement, you want to learn order block, you want to learn liquidity, you want to learn Elliott wave, you want to learn whatever it is, price action, name it. I also want you to study, pick interest to learn fundamental news. Yeah, trust me, without any apology, Forex is 80% fundamental analysis. Quote me anywhere. Now that's what we're going to be starting the day with. Now, I also want to give you, because I said this video is going to be more of an introduction to what you want to study, right? So, now, there are 3 things I need you to take note of when you want to trade news. Because, you see, news is, okay, let me start this way. Let me give you this. You see, if you can understand the concept of fundamental news, I know many of you are doing well technically, right? And you've heard a lot of myths, right? A lot of lies, so to speak, as to what fundamental news is. A lot of mentors will tell you don't trade news. A lot of mentors will call news manipulations. right? They tell you it's manipulation. A lot of people call it different names, right? Formation of FVG. A lot of traders will even go as far as telling you that you should not trade news, right? A lot of brokers will not, maybe prop firms and all that. Now, those are lies. You see, there's no way you will trade forex without news. If you say you don't want to trade when there's news, what if I tell you that the fact that a news was released by 3 o'clock doesn't mean that news was fully priced into the market at 3 o'clock? Yes. Let me take that again. The fact that a news was released at, let's say, 3 o'clock doesn't mean that that news has done all of its function in the market at 3 o'clock. I want you to jot that down, right? In the next video, I'm going to be taking broader look into that, right? Now, that's the first point I need to take note. Number 2 is that you want to work with correlation. Now, there are some things you need to take note of when you want to trade, most especially the currency. Now, this is Forex Factory. I know you must have come across it, but for those of you that are new to it, just go to forexfactory.com and then it will open this for you, right? Now, the first thing you want to take note of is the currency. Alright, the fact that a trade is going to be acting, a news is going to be released, doesn't mean it's going to affect all markets. No, sometimes some currency can be strong enough to have impact on other currencies, right? Maybe like the US dollars. For example, this Trump tariff, right? The tariff has been affecting a lot of other countries, right? Because they are affected, right? So now, things like that, but not all of them. Imagine AUD dropping maybe their unemployment rate. It will affect AUD pairs. It might not affect all of them. I mean, it might not affect XAUSD, so to speak. Do you understand that? Now, another thing I need you to take note of is this. When you know the pair, right, the currency, you start thinking of correlations. Let's say there's an euro news. Let's look at this high impact. Now it's this CAD. Now CAD news is going to be released, right? For example, that means you are looking at CAD pairs for that moment. I'm going to be teaching you how to trade news. That's basically how to trade news. Yes, I said that, how to get that, that direction right. How would that sound if I teach you that? That's basically what I'm going to be doing for you. So now you want to trade news, you want to know the currency that is being affected. So CAD is during the federal election. You want to know how that is going to have impact on the market, right? So you want to know, okay, this is JPY bank holiday. We have GBP. So this GBP is going to be affecting GBP pairs. For example, GBP GBJPY, GBP NZD, Euro GBP, and what have you. Examples like that. Do you understand? So then this Euro will also be affecting Euro pairs. You understand? Euro USD, Euro JPY, Euro GBP, name it. Examples like that. This AUD news is going to be affecting AUD pairs, right? So we have AUD NZD, Euro AUD, GBP AUD, AUD CHF, examples like that. Do you understand? So the first thing you want to know is the currency that is being affected. Then you want to take note of the time of the release. Not before, not after. You want to take note of what time will it be released. You can see this is an 8 a.m. news. With my time zone here, your own might be different. If you're living maybe in Asia, living in Europe, if you're not in West Africa like me, or maybe if you're not in Nigeria, let me put it that way. Yeah. So this is a Nigerian time zone, right? So this is 8 a.m. Nigerian time, 10:14 a.m. Nigerian time, 1:30 p.m. Nigerian. So you want to know the time, right? And then the next thing is you want to know the impact. You can see up here we have impact. So there are 3 types of impact in fundamental analysis. We have the high impact news, we have the low impact news, and we have the medium impact news. I'm sorry about my background, by the way. It's raining here, and I hope that will not affect the sound too much. Alright, now the high impact news are mostly in red. Most calendars, right? I mean sites and all that, economic calendar sites like Forex Factory, My FX Book, FX Streets, even TradingView. Yeah, most of them, the high impact news will be in red. Then the medium impact news will be in orange, while the low impact will be in yellow. Now this is it. For the high impact news, it means that it's really going to affect the market a lot. Now under this you can start seeing like the monetary policies, like the NFPs, like the CPIs, the retail sales, durable goods. Most of them fall under this high impact news, unemployment rates, unemployment earnings and all that. You understand? So then we have the medium impact news, just like this one you're seeing here, and then we have the low impact news in yellow. These are the three things you need to take note of. The currency that is being affected, the time of the release, and the impact. Alright? The impact. So then from there we start looking at the previous, the forecast, and the actual. Right? Now, in this place, this previous tells you the release of that same news, maybe the previous month if it's a monthly news, maybe the last quarter if it's a quarterly news, or maybe the last week if it's a weekly news. I mean, if it's a news that is being released every week, like the US unemployment claims. So those ones, they release it every week. Sorry, let's go to Wednesday. I think Thursday. Unemployment claims. Yeah, this is it. Now, for the US unemployment claims, it happens every week. Now, what this is telling you is that for the previous news that was released for unemployment claims, the previous number was 222k. Right now, the forecast is telling you what they are looking up to, the projection, what they are expecting for this new week. You understand? So now we have the actual. The actual is going to be the original release, what was really released at that time. So that is your attention. And yeah, the next video I'm going to be paying much more attention to that. I'll be going in depth. Right, like I said, this is just going to be an an introduction. Sorry, introduction. Now we also have details. This details bar is more of where you see articles, right? You can see release right here, right? So you see articles from experts, expert opinions, and yeah. So what have I told you today? On this video, you've learned that fundamental analysis is very, very important. Imagine if you can combine fundamental with your current knowledge of technical analysis. I kind of regretted it, honestly, when I started fundamentals, because everybody's always running from those things. But that is where the market is. That is where the big movement is, right? Yeah, so I got to know that, right? And then I got to see that, okay, there are a lot of things I'm missing out, right? Then, trust me, it's not easy. I'm not going to promise you an easy ride. No, I'm not going to do that. Because, yeah, I also had losses even with it. Right, but I was able to master it as time goes on. The same way you had stop loss on your technical analysis, your order block, your trend line, and then as time goes on, you start knowing what works for you. You start knowing manipulations. You start knowing the fuck ups, where you should run from, where you should bank on, and all that. So that's exactly what we'll be learning as time goes on in this video. All right. And let me round up with that for now, and then stay tuned for the next video, where we'll be going in depth. I'll be showing you in the next video. I'm going to be showing you how to analyze this previous forecast and actual. I was working on this part for this video, right? And then I'm working on this part in this video. I'll also be giving you some major news to look out for, where your interest should be and how you can trade them. I'll also be giving you my expert opinions based on my experience, what I believe, how I trade them, and yeah, there are some trades you enter before, there are some trades you enter during, and there are some trades you enter after. I'm going to be explaining that as well in the next video. I also said something that some news are not totally priced in immediately the news was dropped. Right? I said the fact that the news was dropped, a news was released by 3 o'clock doesn't mean that the news is fully priced in. Right? I'll also be explaining that in the next video, and I will explain how you can enjoy, the benefit of knowing how to trade news over time. There's some news that they run through a month. Trust me, the fact that was released once. Example is monetary policies, right? Maybe a rate reduction or a hike in rate. It might run through until the next meeting, the next central bank meeting. I'm going to be explaining that as well. I'm going to be explaining the concept of central banks. I'm going to be explaining a lot more in the next video. Alright, see you some other time. My name is Isaac. Bye for now.